everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christy here doing the new moon in Sagittarius reading for my Evoking Ecstasy Goddess channel, recommended by my very beautiful friend Damina Doll, also known as Dawn. So this is specifically for your page, for all of your viewers. I really hope that you like it. So a couple weeks ago we did the full moon in Scorpio reading. So this week we're just going to do a couple minutes regarding a new moon in Sagittarius. Just to let you know briefly what Sagittarius rules and what it stands for, it is governed by the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of optimism, forward thinking, higher learning, theology, religion, and it's also known as the armchair philosopher. Also higher education as well. So we're looking at a fire sign, someone who is an action-orientated person, someone who's also very funny and more on the skeptical versus cynical side. Cynicism more belongs to the sign Capricorn. And then, of course, we have the lovely Sagittarius, who brings a beautiful and healthy dose of skepticism to everything. So this is where we're going to be theming our Evoking Ecstasy Goddess reading around this week with our new moon in Sagittarius. So what do all of our goddesses need to know about personal strength and growth through the weekend of the new moon in Sagittarius? I'm just going to shuffle and get one card each from each deck, and then we'll look at some possibilities and lessons we could be learning with regard to elements that are related to the sign Sagittarius and, of course, the planet Jupiter, as I just mentioned. Just going to shuffle and get one card from this deck, and then we'll move on to the last deck, and then we'll look at these briefly together. So two of these jumped out together. Let's take them. Now, I just realized you really can't see these, so let's move these over. Okay, let's try that again. We're just looking for one, ideally. One card from each deck here. Sweet. All right. So the first card that we had jump out is Hawk. Now, Hawk rules messenger. This is the story, the native story around this card is messenger. This is where you are going to act as a beacon of learning, okay, and awareness and optimism. If I didn't mention optimism with regard to the sign Sagittarius or the planet Jupiter, I am remiss not to do so. They really are the zodiac's optimist, 100%. This is the beauty queen who will stay home with you when you have measles on prom night. I'm not kidding. The Sagittarian personality, the Sagittarian heart, really is the sweetheart of the zodiac. I know Libra gets a lot of attention for that, and they get a lot of accolades for being the sweetheart. But remember, Libra is the romantic sweetheart. Sagittarius is the friend. This is the person you can rely on to make you feel better, to make you do better, okay? But they do it in a fun way. They're the skeptic. They're not going to put you down. They're not going to say what you're doing wrong. They're going to say, you know what? I always thought you'd be good at this. That's how they'll frame how they believe in you. They won't say, why don't you do this? Or why do you always do that? They won't frame it that way. And that's the kind of message that you're going to want to introduce to yourself this week. Maybe you can learn to talk to yourself that way. If you find that you give yourself a hard time about stuff, if you find that you're hard on other people, or if you find it difficult to be optimistic about certain things that you wish you weren't, or that you wish you had a little bit more lighthearted attitude about, or you could feel better about accomplishing, and not give yourself a hard time. Maybe introduce some Jupiter or some Sagittarius energy into that, and maybe just say, you know what, you'd be really good at this. Why don't you try this? And give yourself a lift. All right, Sagittarian as a zodiac, Sagittarian as the heart. Okay, as the personality, and of course Jupiter, being ruled by Jupiter. We're looking at pure optimism here, okay? Like really feeling good, even in the face of problems or troubles. This is really, the glass is half full. So if you're having a hard time, Be your own best friend. Be your own well messenger. If someone around you is giving you a hard time, take that higher road. Don't play tit for tat. Just say, you know what? You do you. You do you. If you're going to be crabby, you can be crabby, but you're not going to bring me down. On the other hand, another way to look at messengers to say if someone is like this in your circle and you've been rejecting it for some reason, ask yourself, why are you resistant to this type of optimism? It might help you out. You might be served by being optimistic. The next two sets of cards, of course, are yin and flexible. We have receptivity over here. Receptivity doesn't mean sitting still. It means accepting what's coming to you, accepting what's in your circle, accepting emotions especially. Of course, we have themes of pink and mauve here. This is a generally feminine card, so to speak, as opposed to masculine. This is really only defined by the yin and yang as a symbol. It's an ancient Chinese symbol. But remember here, one's not better than the other. These are complementary. So we don't want to be yin all the time. We don't want to be yang all the time. This has to be, back to the term Libra for a moment, this has to be in balance, okay? We need yin and yang in balance with each other. So if you are receptive this week, take heart in that. If you find that you're over emotional or over receptive, you're going to want to create that balance and add some yang into that. Maybe take some action. If there's some anxiety or depression, for example, you're going to want to get out of your house. You're going to want to talk to a friend. You're going to want to push yourself to do something a little bit uncomfortable so that you can shake that off. And here with flexible, this is really just knowing what to do at the right time to get out of a difficult situation. This is also about maybe something coming to fruition. You were flexible enough to get your own way, even though it wasn't exactly what you wanted, but something worked out, and it's good for everybody. So remember here to be open, to be flexible, but if you find yourself being overly emotional, and only you can define that for yourself, overly emotional for you, introduce some yang, introduce some action energy there, and especially in the spirit of Sagittarius, as I mentioned, it's a fire sign. This is an action sign. Even if it's about, I'm going to inject some humor into the situation, or I'm going to inject some positivity into the situation. Really, you can feel the energy change. You can feel your heartbeat change. So, try to find the humor in things this week for yourself, my dear viewers. And with your last card is trust. We're looking at judgment here, okay? So I relate this to the sister card in the major arcana of the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot. Of course, that's the Judgment card. This is really just knowing that you can trust yourself. Perhaps you feel like you couldn't do that. Perhaps you feel like you've let yourself down in the past for any variety of reasons. But maybe this is a nice week to get back in touch with yourself. Maybe you can forgive yourself if you've let yourself down, and you can say, you know what, I'm ready to learn to trust myself again. Or you could even say, you know what, I'm willing to look at what I did, or what position I was in, or what headspace I was in when I made decisions that, didn't work out for me or weren't the best for me, so that I can get on the road to learning to trust myself again. Okay, this is really all about judgment. You want to learn to trust your judgment. You want to learn to rely on yourself, especially in a split second, right? So you want to make a habit of this. So if this is new for you, or if you need to do some healing or work around trust and judgment, maybe that might be a nice week to begin that this week. So that is your reading with regard to the new moon in Sagittarius for you this week, my dear Evoking Ecstasy Goddess viewers. Thank you so much to Dawn for introducing this idea to me. I'm really enjoying it. And if you have any comments, leave them below. I love hearing from you. And subscribe to my channel. It's free to do that, and you get your weekly readings for your personal sign. And leave a like if you like my videos, because that really helps me out as well. So thank you so much for being here with me. I look forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks for our next full moon reading. Until then, take excellent care. Bye for now.